We're recording.
Sister, my name is Ann Cavera.
Hello, Ann. Nice to meet you.
And your sister?
I'm Sister Anne Mary Maillat. I'm a sister of Notre Dame.
And I'm so glad to talk to you because I've been a Catholic for a long time and I've heard about spiritual direction, but I really don't know what it is. It sounds like one of those Catholic things that are a big mystery, and I'm not quite sure what to do with it. But I think a lot of us feel like we've lost our way spiritually and we need some direction. Maybe the whole world is in that situation. And so would you just tell me what spiritual direction is?
Well, I'm delighted to talk with you, Ann, and I have a definition that I have come across that gives a framework for talking about spiritual direction. This definition comes from Father Barry, and he's written a lot on spiritual direction. And this is what spiritual direction is, and I really like it because I identify with it. It's help given by one Christian to another, which enables that person to pay attention to God's personal communication. And then to respond to this personally communicating God, and then to grow in intimacy with God, and to live out the consequences of the relationship.
Well, it almost sounds like it's not something you're doing, but maybe you're opening windows or doors. I don't know.
Yes, for spiritual direction, I've been doing spiritual direction for at least 25 years. And my experience is that when people come and they're seeking some spiritual guidance, direction is kind of a tough word because it sounds like I'm going to tell people, to go left or to go right, and that's really not the case. It's really more of a spiritual guidance or perhaps companioning. And spiritual direction in that is I'm listening to a person, listening to you talk about life, the experience of life right now, and where you are seeking God, where you're maybe even wondering, where is God in this difficult situation? Perhaps it's also maybe saying, I just had an encounter with Jesus that I would like to talk about.
So you're a sounding board then for people who come with some kind of spiritual question or spiritual difficulty?
Yes, right. And then I'm listening that way from my training. It's how to listen to how the Spirit may be active in that person's life, and then maybe asking a question that helps the person to discover the answer within themselves.
I think I like that more than going to someone who would tell me what to do.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And I think the word direction makes it sound that way. Mm-hmm. And it's spiritual direction it's been around for a very long time. It has in more recent years become more popular, if you will, or people are more open to it, which is wonderful. I mean, who of us doesn't need a spiritual companion to kind of walk with us and help us to grow in our intimacy with God or with Jesus.
Well, what kind of problems do people bring to you? Do you have to be in dire straits before you come for spiritual direction? Or can you just have a vague feeling that there has to be something more? What kind of problems do people come with?
May not so much be a problem, but it may be a decision that they need to make. Mm-hmm. And they need some help in discerning what is of God. Which one is of God? Because discernment means that you're choosing between two goods. I mean, as Christians, as people who are aiming to live a good life, we know the difference between good and bad. That's not a discernment. A discernment is, gosh, I have two goods here. And I want to do what God wants me to do. Can you help me discern that? So that is most often what people come with.
So there are people who are already living a spiritual life, but they just may need help sorting things